Dual strikes on the Nasser medical complex in Khan Younis killed at least 20 people, including journalists, according to Gaza health officials. This video showing the chaos in the aftermath of the first strike. Now, the IDF claiming it, quote, does not target journalists as such, and saying the military chief has instructed an inquiry into the attack.
Well, neither the statements from Israel nor their investigation means anything at all. At least that's what the nearly 2-year genocide in Gaza has taught anyone with 2 brain cells to rub together. Now, at least 20 people were killed in 2 back-to-back Israeli airstrikes on the Nasser Hospital complex in the southern end of the Gaza Strip. Now, it appears that Israel conducted the second strike, known as a double tap, specifically because civil defense teams and journalists arrived on the scene. Now, let's take a look at that.
Now, we know that after that first strike targeted the 4th floor of the hospital, we understand that there were emergency workers, health workers, and journalists who all rushed to the scene. Now, we have footage that we see, it was also played on live television, showing those individuals on a damaged staircase trying to retrieve casualties, one holding up a damaged video camera to show the journalists' presence. And then just minutes later, there was a second strike. Now, we understand that this was more deadly than the first, and this is the one that did kill many journalists and emergency workers who were on the scene at the time. At least 4 journalists have been killed.
So since that report, it was confirmed that more than 4 journalists were killed during that, in my opinion, intentional strike, considering hundreds of journalists have been killed in Gaza. And Israel, of course, does not allow international journalists to report on the ground, enter the Gaza Strip and report on the ground. Now, of the journalists who were killed, I want to identify them. Miriam Daga, a freelance journalist for the Associated Press, cameraman Hussam al-Masri, a Reuters contractor, Mohammed Salam, a journalist for Al Jazeera, photographer Hatem Khaled, and another contractor for Reuters, and finally Moaz Abu Taha. So those 5 journalists arrived on the scene to do their jobs, to report about the Israeli strike, and that's when Israel did a second strike. And I want to be clear, these individuals were visible. I'm gonna go to another video, a better angle, so you see exactly what I'm talking about here. Take a look.
مقصود لهذا الزميل الصحفي حسام المصري.
لا حصل الآن
نعم.
الآن خليك يا الله، راح الدفاع المدني قتلوا الناس، راح الدفاع المدني قتلوا الناس، استهداف كبير الآن كما تشاهد.
Last week, one of the videos that went viral featured a young girl who was walking by herself with a jug of water that she was trying to take back to her family. The IDF decided to bomb her to smithereens as well. So anyone who thinks that these are not intentional strikes is either delusional or they're just a flat out liar that just seeks to defend any and all crimes committed by the state of Israel. Here at the Young Turks, we like to report the truth. These are intentional strikes. They are intentionally slaughtering journalists, healthcare workers, doctors. You guys get the picture.
Yeah, so there's 3 layers to that crime. So first they hit a hospital. Remember when they pretended to be outraged that, there was in the beginning of the war, there was an errant bomb from Islamic Jihad that hit a hospital. It wasn't Israel. How all of you are anti-Semites, blood libel, blah, 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 for suggesting it was a hospital. Now almost every hospital in Gaza is destroyed, and you see them hitting a hospital again and again here, right?
The American doctor I interviewed last week, by the way, was volunteering at Nasser Hospital.
Yeah,
that was the hospital he was on.
So if there were American hospitals on that floor, they would have also been dead. But they don't care about killing Americans. They've killed many Americans, and the American government's response has been, how much would you like? We'd like to pay you for murdering more American citizens because you're our special ally that has bribed all of us, okay? Legally bribed. Okay, so now, so they hit a hospital, that's layer number 1. Number 2 is they were trying to hit the journalist in the hospital. Wow. Number 3 is the rescue workers go to rescue people in the hospital and the reporters, and they've got orange vests on. You saw it with your own eyes, right? Those were as clear rescue workers as you've ever seen. They're in a bomb site. They're trying to pull people out. They have orange vests on, and Israel sees them as clear as you do, right? Because they have excellent technology. And as that same American doctor explained, there's a drone that is constant in all the Palestinian cities in Gaza, and they're constantly monitoring and have excellent surveillance. So they knew for a fact that they were murdering rescue workers and hitting a hospital and hitting journalists. So look, they've killed more human rights workers than any other conflict. They've killed more reporters now. They're up to 231 since
240 according to the UN.
Okay, 240 now. I mean, 4 just got added today, right? So they've killed 240 journalists. That is more than all other conflicts on earth combined. They're slaughtering the journalists. Why? Because they don't want anybody to see their crimes. That's what criminals do. That's what murderers do. They try to clean up the witnesses by killing them. And so they're killing them right in front of your eyes, though. And this is them partly rubbing. I mean, they'll go and deny it. They'll say, no, everyone there was a terrorist.
They have a different cover story today. You know.
Yeah, there was a terrorist there once, and then there was a mistake, and we're investigating it, and we'll get back to you. They never get back to you. They never investigated. They're giant liars. They murder, 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 murder. And like, it doesn't matter. We can murder endlessly because we have the American government on our side, and the American taxpayers are made to pay for all of our crimes.
That's exactly right. So the bomb that was used, the 2 bombs, I guess, because it was a double tap. They hit the hospital twice, paid for by the US taxpayer. Congratulations. Having trouble with your health care? Too bad. It's just beyond frustrating. Now, Israel really remains undeterred in regard to committing all sorts of war crimes since the United States has emboldened them to do anything and everything they want, and we give them the bombs to do it. Now, Israeli military spokesperson Lieutenant Colonel Nadav Shoshani did confirm the strikes on X and pretended as though targeting journalists is not part of their policy. It absolutely is. Earlier today, Monday, IDF troops carried out a strike in the area of Nasser Hospital in Khan Younis. The chief of the general staff instructed to conduct an initial inquiry as soon as possible. They're investigating. Okay?
And it was not in the area of the hospital, it was on the hospital.
It was on the hospital, yeah, but don't worry, they're investigating. They got people working around the clock. The IDF regrets any harm to uninvolved individuals and does not target journalists as such. You guys have killed 240 journalists in Gaza, will not allow reporters, international reporters, to enter the Gaza Strip to do their jobs and report on the ground. And that's very much intentional because Israel's carrying out a genocide and they still want their pathetic defenders in the United States to have plausible deniability. But I'm sorry, brothers and sisters, we've seen the IDF's internal documents indicating that 83% of people that they've killed in Gaza are civilians, 83%. 83%. You're gonna tell me this isn't a genocide? You're gonna tell me this isn't the intentional slaughter of innocents, of doctors, of journalists, of first responders who are trying to rescue people? It is, it absolutely is. And anyone who's trying to tell you otherwise is just lying to you. Netanyahu pretends like he deeply regrets what happened. Israel deeply regrets the tragic mishap that occurred today. Mishap. How is a double strike? Okay, a double tap a mishap?
It is a mishap, I'll explain.
Okay,
so
go ahead.
Yeah, it's a mishap because it's on tape. So they do this all the time, but they never apologize and they never pretend that there's going to be an inquiry unless it's already on tape. Because once it's on tape, you can't say, oh, you didn't do a double tap. We all just saw it with our own eyes, right? If it's not on tape, they'll be like, it never happened. Plus they were all terrorists. Plus they deserved it. Plus we didn't do it. Plus we're awesome. Send us more money, right? But when they have it on tape and it bothers people viscerally, then they go, oh, where's a mishap? Mishap, that son of a bitch caught it on tape. We'll murder him later, okay? But we'll try to keep that one off camera. But that's why they're pretending. Otherwise they don't even pretend. So, and so now, look, 2 things about that. One is
unless Israel allow international journalists to do their jobs on the ground in Gaza, okay? American journalists and media organizations need to stop regurgitating the lies coming from the Israelis.
Yeah,
how about that?
So the Israeli government has the worst track record I have ever seen in the middle of a conflict. They make Baghdad Bob look credible. So Baghdad Bob was this hilarious propagandist for Saddam Hussein, and he'd say things like there are no Americans in Baghdad as American tanks were rolling behind him, okay? And the Israelis are like, no, we've killed no one in Gaza, and we've been so careful in Gaza. You see all of Gaza's leveled. All the hospitals are gone, all the schools are gone, and you have an 83% civilian kill ratio. And our moronic anchors on cable news are still like, no, but Israel denies it. No, Israel's great, Israel's awesome. They say it was all Hamas. You apologize for Hamas. You condemn Hamas, okay? That's how they start every stupid interview 2 years into a bloody slaughterhouse in Gaza, okay? How you should start an interview is, do you condemn Israel, which is obviously acting as a terrorist state? But to me, the thing that I was gonna mention is, I mean, of all the billion things that get under my skin in this conflict is, so we just took away healthcare from 12 million people in the last budget bill, okay?
In America, yeah.
In America. So 12 million Americans will not get healthcare because we don't have enough money. But we send money to Israel to kill healthcare workers in Gaza. We ran out of healthcare for us because we were too busy helping Israel murder healthcare workers in Gaza. Let alone the fact that they have universal healthcare and paid family leave and Iron Dome, and they have everything we don't have. We have a $37 trillion debt. They have almost no debt because we're the suckers paying for everything for Israel, including their slaughter of journalists and healthcare workers and any witnesses. Why are we still funding these disgusting terrorists? Every time you ring the bell below, an angel gets his wings. Totally not true, but it does keep you updated on our live shows.